everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today's webinar is titled Control the Chaos of Remote Workspaces in Real Time with Command Control. I'm Kristen McGargle, Senior Marketing Manager with Liquidware, and we're glad you've joined us today. This webinar is being recorded. You'll receive a link to the recording within one business day, and feel free to share it with a colleague. If at any point today you have any questions or comments, place them in the Q&A window and we'll answer them as time allows. For today's webinar, we have James O'Regan, Product Marketing Manager with Liquidware, and Jack Smith, Senior Solutions Architect and Subject Matter Expert on Profile Unity and FlexApp with Liquidware. James, ready to kick things off?
Thank you, Kristen, for the intro. Yeah, as we said there, today is all about remote workspaces and how Command Control can help with those. So obviously, just to kind of kick us off, I wanted to just present Liquidware as a whole. So with Liquidware, we're very much focused on going beyond DEX. You hear a lot today about DEX and how it's kind of the thing to talk about. Well, we can absolutely help with that, but we do also have solutions that are kind of, as we said, go beyond DEX. So obviously we have what we call FlexApp, which is how we deliver dynamic applications, and they're integrated with our UEM solution, and that is Profile Unity, and that is very much, it's got a full featured user and management solution, and the two seamlessly integrate. Then for the kind of monitoring and diagnostic sides, we have Stratosphere UX. And that very much focuses on, as I said, monitoring and optimization. You get so much data with Stratosphere and analytics to kind of, you can have a look at that complete life cycle for, migration purposes and that. And then to kind of look at the real-time remediation part, which is what we're going to focus on today, we have Command Control. So Command Control is very much focused on real-time remediation. So it's all about the monitoring and remediation of remote endpoints from anywhere. And the really good thing, and I'm going to go into this in more detail, is that everything is done via the console. You should be able to do all these actions, and we're going to have live demos of this to show you that, we're not just talking about it, we're actually showing it in practice. So just to go back a little bit, obviously, why we have brought in Command Control is around, there's obviously been a seismic change in the world when it comes to the world of work. And if you look at this chart here from Buffer, and it's, would you like to work remotely at least some of the time for the rest of your career? And you see huge numbers. Like the majority of people do want to work remotely, or at least have the option to work remotely. So we have seen that shift where we're very much now in a hybrid world. So that increases the complexity if you're like working on an IT help desk or as a sysadmin or something. So this is why we're focusing on this today, because very much we feel that Command Control can really help you navigate that kind of difficulties that occur with remote workspaces. So some of the challenges of remote workspaces, you might have a disjointed IT infrastructure, you'll have some tools, you'll have multiple tools. So what we're trying to do is kind of help simplify things. Users can have performance and productivity issues. So one of the most common things is obviously, everyone who's worked in EUC is like, in my experience over the years has been Citrix is running slow. Well, you can actually delve into that further and look at that and then determine that it's not the case, and that actually it might be something like the home user is too far from their Wi-Fi router or something like that. And we can, with Command Control, you can get those kind of insights into those type of issues. And as I said, Jack's going to demo all of this in a little while. Again, kind of support and troubleshooting difficulties. When it's remote, it's that bit harder to support. So one of the kind of the key points with Command Control is obviously, as I said, it's all done via the console. You're not actually interrupting the end user. They can be working away in the background, and you can seamlessly, on our console, do all the kind of remediations and kind of troubleshooting that are required without having to initiate that remote session. Now, we do have remote capabilities for when, you've exhausted everything you do in the console. But the whole point is that you shouldn't be interrupting the end user. Everything should be able to be done via the console. So what in terms of things, we've talked about, so we have real-time metrics. So we've got the usual ones. We've got CPU, RAM, disk, network. But also what we have is we have support for all the major kind of protocol vendors, be that Citrix, what's now Omnissa, we've got Digital Frame, all of the, and obviously RDP for AVD. So we support all of those, so you can get insights into those various different protocols as well. And we also can give you some information around GPU. So today is what day? It is the 22nd of August, and almost a year to the day, we launched Command Control in Las Vegas at VM Explorer. So for those who are not familiar with what Command Control, so as I said, Command Control is a SaaS-based solution that is focused on real-time remediation, and it allows you to manage any Windows or Mac workspace simply by installing an agent. So once you have your agent installed on an endpoint, all the data is transferred to the console in real time, and it all refreshes every 3 seconds. So as I said, we launched last year at VM Explorer. We were lucky to be awarded as a finalist in the multi-cloud and app modernization. So that was what, out of the gate, it was very good for us from a launch standpoint. So I suppose some of the things I wanted to talk about was, our innovations with Command Control and why it differs from other solutions. So the really key differentiator for me is our DVR playback. So what this does, as I said, Command Control very much focused on that real-time data. So, you have all of those metrics displayed. But sometimes someone's going to say to you, particularly if they contact, say, the help desk, say, oh, 2 days ago, I had this issue at around this time. Well, because we have DVR, we store up to 7 days of history. So we can get the console and we can rewind it all the way back to that particular point in time and pinpoint what was going on with that machine. Now, one of the things that I get asked about this is, oh, are you capturing screens or, whatever is displayed on the screen? We don't capture the end user screen. We are simply capturing the metrics from the end user's device. So there's no kind of GDPR issues or anything like that because we're not capturing screens. Then switch. So obviously, a lot of end users who are utilizing devices are connecting to some sort of VDI or DAS type environment. So what we do is once there's an agent on the, say, the cloud host and the endpoint, we can make an association between the two. So what you have is the ability to side by side look at the metrics for both the endpoint and the cloud host. And it's really good for kind of aiding that whole troubleshooting process. So just to go a bit further, one of the other things is, when you're looking at Command Control has a task manager type solution built into it. So it defines all the processes and you can interact with those processes. But one of the things we've done is we've integrated that all those processes with ChatGPT. And what you can do is to quickly determine those processes instead of having to go off in depth looking at all the various different components, you can get a quick description of what that process. And the other one kind of goes hand in hand with our switch is protocol mirroring. So as I said, we make that association between the two specific devices. And one of the first things when we launch that, when we provide switch, is we pull in the protocol from the cloud host into the metrics for the endpoint. So it allows that kind of real-time look and be able to do a comparison for it. I just realized I went through without, we had a poll question, didn't we, Kristen?
We did. We actually have a couple of poll questions that I'm going to launch here. The first one you'll be able to see shortly. So the first poll question is, what are your biggest challenges in remote workspace management? We've got maintaining consistent performance, monitoring user experience and productivity in real time, troubleshooting IT issues remotely. And this poll question is going to launch simultaneously with the other one, which is which of Command Control's innovations would make the biggest difference to your environment? We've got DVR playback, switch, and ChatGPT integration. So we're just going to give it one more moment here, let people answer. We've got 2/3 of the group that have answered. If everyone would just take a quick moment to respond, and then we will show the results. Okay. All right. So can everyone see the results?
Yes. Yeah, interesting.
Okay. So definitely the DVR playback, right? And
Yeah.
on the top one, the troubleshooting IT issues remotely. Clearly a winner there.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
As I said, we talked about the key innovations. And obviously I mentioned at the start that we have 4 different solutions at Liquidware. So this is the individual view within Stratosphere. So you can see it's giving you some of the metrics that we capture with Stratosphere. And it's got this nice little button at the top. And what that does is if you're looking at a machine in Stratosphere, if you click on that real-time button, that launches you into the to a command control session. And you're then able to, like I've said, get all of those real-time metrics for the device that you're looking at. So that's just kind of highlighting our integration between the 2 solutions, and we have further integrations coming in the future. So earlier this year, we launched Command Control 1.1. So we kind of did some back end stuff and that. But one of the kind of main features of 1.1 was we now give you the ability to export your event logs. So obviously event logs really useful when it comes to troubleshooting. So you can export any of the 3 event logs within the device, whether that be the application, the security, or the system. So now I'm going to hand over to Jack, and Jack is going to take us through some kind of real life scenarios that Command Control can help with. So over to you, Jack.
All right, so we're going to start kind of at the beginning. What would a workflow look like? Well, typically when you're in a help desk workflow, you're going to start with somebody calling you in, calling most likely, right? So I'm going to just say that Barry called me, so I'm going to look up Barry. And I can see that he's associated to 2 workstations. I can see that he was on Nook 1, and I can see 36 minutes ago he was on a laptop. So I'm going to assume that Barry here is on Nook 1. So I'm going to pull up Nook 1 as my workstation, and I'm going to be brought into a dashboard. Now, there's a couple things to note in this dashboard view. We'll start here at the top. 1, history. This is that DVR view, right, where I can go and look at any specific time and see a DVR recording of when things happened, what was happening during those time frames. Another view in here, or another button, is shell. So I can pop open a PowerShell or command line shell or any of those types of things out to my user base, get various different commands just directly back from PowerShell. And users do not see this. This is all done on the back end. It's already elevated. So you can run any sorts of commands out to your users. Next is my diagnostics. I may want to run a speed test. I may want to ping something, trace route something, get an IP address information, get event logs from app security and systems. And when you run that, it goes out and grabs the ETL, and you just open it up in your normal event viewer program locally on your system. You just download it out, go from there. You can run group policy resultants. So I want to see what group policies are applied to this particular user on the machine, user that happens to be on that system. Again, you're just running those basic diagnostics. You download it, you'll get that HTML report that came out of that. Other things are scripts. So if there are some scripts you'd like to run, you can search for the title of said scripts, and you can import your scripts directly into our UI. So say, for example, I want to do a listing. So I'll go ahead and run that one, and we'll do Nook 1 as the example. I don't have any custom arguments, albeit I probably could put one in there and hit go. So this is going to run that script out on that workstation. In this case, it's going to list my applications, and I have a history of those applications or those scripts that I've run. So if I go into my history, you can see I ran it on, this workstation. If I go over here, you can see I ran this on Wi-Fi Lab 4. So I do have the results of said script across the board. Another nice part with the scripts and literally everything else within Command Control is everything has the ability to have a permission assigned to it, an RBAC permission. So if I only want certain people to see certain scripts or be able to run certain scripts, if I only want certain organizations or people with my organization to be allowed to run the shell or diagnostics or whatever, I have that ability within the roles to say these items are only allowed for these specific users in these various different people within my tenant. So we'll circle back around here. Since we covered the top items, there's this one last little, call it a splat. At least that's what I've been calling it, is the splat icon. So, so what we have, this thing is called pass through. So I actually can see if a user is connected out to a remote system. So let's pick one of those remote systems. We'll call this the VDI RDP1 system. And whatever this is connected to, or whoever is connected to this, there is a pass-through option, assuming there's an agent on, assuming there's an agent on the other side of the workstation, and usually there is, to where I can go from where I'm in here to over to the other workstation. So you can see the splats down here. So GPAC here is connected to the system from, in this case, we don't have an agent on there. But if there's an agent on there, I can click that. It'll open up another window and pop over to that physical entity workstation machine to get the information off of those workstations and machines. Now, as of right now, we are going to be supporting Windows and Mac operating systems, but stay tuned because we're going to be supporting a whole bunch of other types of devices in our future releases. Now, most of the work you're going to probably do is most likely going to be in the dashboard here, which is you can see the processes that are running for CPU, RAM, disk, network, display protocol, and the different items and processes that happen within that. You may also go in and decide to do things within the task manager view. So you may say, all right, I'm going to flip over to process view, and I'm going to see the processes as they're run, the commands that come off of that, whatever resources are being utilized there. And maybe I don't know what a specific item in here is. Like, I'm not sure what CRSS means. So I can click on that ChatGPT icon, and what it's going to do is it's going to tell me what is CRSS. What does that process actually mean? And there we go. CRSS is the client server runtime process built into Windows. All right. So probably not a virus, most likely not a virus. But what is that? That is what that process is and what that means. Other items within this view, you can search between just no user. No user would be like your service system accounts, things like that, or your user owned processes if you want to change those views around. You can search for specific processes within there. So if I just want to see Chrome Chrome, I can look at just Chrome. Another thing is that if this is a service, for example, or has any sort of network connections out to the internet, I can see those network connections as they are established and running. Again, if it's a service type of, don't want to kill that process. If it's a service type of view, like for example, our command control service, if I open that up, I can see what service that is. I can stop that service if I need to, all the connections that are being made and sent. So I have a lot of very helpful information as to what's running, where's it going, what's it using, and what can I do about that. And lastly, I have a view within my services view. So if I want to stop a service or disable services, even remove, if it's possible, remove a service from the guest operating system, I can stop and restart and do all sorts of different things, assuming it's allowed to be removed or stopped, given the access that I have. Usually it is available. One last thing is that because this is a multi-tenant type system, being that it's a SaaS-based product, I can flip between tenants. So I can go to my community account and see my own internal, home computers, and then I can flip back to the corporate account. Or if I work with resellers, I can go out here and I can send an invite to the remote reseller. So I can go send this invite, specific role around it. It's going to get a help desk role, send the invite out. And based on that invite, where did you go? Go back here. Okay. Based on that invite, I would send it to their at whatever email address. I don't have to create an account on my domain for them to log into, maintain those passwords and credentials and all that stuff. It just goes out to that person at their domain. And of course, you can set the roles, and within the roles, there's a lot of different things. You can assign permissions around things that you're allowed to do, touch, and feel. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jack. What we've seen there is kind of a overview of everything that's going on in command control and all of the kind of features. I just saw one of a comment there about the screen where I show the Stratosphere integration. So just to specify that with the integration with Stratosphere, you do need a subscription to both Stratosphere UX and for command control. So yeah, so really what we're hoping that with command control, what that allows you to do is be like this admin here. You can be sitting wherever you want and you can work away with command control. And that's the beauty of it. Everything is condensed into this console. As Jack showed, you can do everything via the console and get all the metrics and do all the kind of remediations via the console. You don't have to, as I said, you don't have to interrupt the user. That is the kind of the big thing with command control, is about preventing having to interrupt that user to do any kind of take any action or remediation. So we have those scripts. You can add your own scripts. So if you've got something else you want to customize, you've got a whole PowerShell command prompt, for launching into that. And then the whole thing around the security is obviously there's a lot of power within the console. You can apply the whole RBAC to all the different components so that people only have access to what you require them to. So yeah, it gives you all that kind of control and power, but at the same time, you can apply controls across everything that's provided in command control. So, you can listen to myself and Jack talk about it, but these are testimonials from people across the EUC industry, and this is their view on command control. Well, and we've got two, John, who's an architect at E360. We've got Ruben, who is the field CTO at DigiFrame, and obviously we've got that, we've got that support for their frame remoting protocol. And then Dennis is a IT consultant at ITQ in the Netherlands and has written a series of blogs all around command control. So they're well worth checking out, and we'll actually provide the links to those as well. So yeah, that's just, and then what I wanted to talk to now is Jack hinted about this. So currently we're on version 1.1. 1.5 is coming in late Q4. And at the moment, we have Windows and Mac support. Well, that's about to change. So we're bringing in some more support for Linux OSs, but we're also bringing in support for iGel, Stratosphere, Stratodesk, Tenzig, and we've got much, much more as well. And so if you want to kind of look at for any of these platforms, if you want to look at getting involved, you can contact ourselves to get on the beta test for our version 1.4. So that's really exciting because we're expanding. Obviously, as I said, we currently support Mac and Windows, but we're going out to Linux and to Linux thin clients, in particular the kind of three of the biggest players in the market in iGel, Stratodesk, and Tenzig. So yeah, that will be coming in late Q4. So as I said, you can contact us to join our beta test. So if you want to test out Command Control, you can take this QR code and sign up now for your free community edition, which gives you access for 5 machines. So, you can utilize it to just in a lab scenario, or maybe like most people who work in IT, you're the IT person for your entire family. You can install it on their machines and, have all that power and capability across your home machines. And as Jack showed, you can switch between tenants so easily. It's really an easy process. So yeah, the QR code is there. You can sign up today. I really advise you to all do that. Have a play around with it. And also then if you if you want to join, you can join our community, and we have a whole Slack channel there dedicated to Command Control. So if you have any thoughts or questions around Command Control or any other liquidware solutions, you can join our community. And as I said, what we have there is you've got access to the whole of liquidware. Jack's on there, I'm on there, even up to David, our CEO. He answers queries on the community. So it's a really good resource for finding out more information about our liquidware solutions, or if you've got problems, or if you just want to share something or about something around liquidware. We have people who've shared things and it's been, really useful for the rest of the community. So those are just, and there's lots more to come. We will have another release, another couple of releases in 2025. We have our free community edition, up to 5 devices, and lots of exciting things lined up for them. Watch this space.
Great. And if you do have any questions for sales, the email address is sales@liquidware.com. Marketing questions, marketing@liquidware.com. James and Jack, thank you so much for your time today. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys next time. Keep an eye out on your email for a link to the recording, and feel free to share it with your colleagues. Thanks so much.